Hi, it's Nick Chevick with PPM Templates. Today we're going to talk about a blueprint for the letter of intent. First of all, what is a letter of intent? So if you're going to make a acquisition of a company, a letter of intent is that written agreement that sets forth the preliminary understanding between you, the buyer, and the seller. It helps frame what the transaction will look like, the price to be paid, the form of the payment, the structure of the transaction, and also provides a roadmap to closing. Typically, the LOI is sent to the investment banker, if there is one, or broker, after you've visited the company and have had a chance to meet with management and go through the management presentation. One thing we used to like to do is in the preamble to the actual terms, stroke the ego of the seller a little bit, thanking them for their time and commenting on the business that they've built. You also want to qualify your offer as being based on the offering memorandum that was prepared by the investment banker, conversations that you've had with management or management's representatives, and then any other additional information that you've received. So now let's get into the terms. Purchase price. Describe how much you're offering and whether it is for equity or assets, and if it is a stock deal, whether you're acquiring 100% of the stock or some lesser amount. Debt and cash. Make clear that you are acquiring the business debt-free and that the owner can distribute any unrestricted cash to the owners. If there's going to be a new president and CEO, you'll want to discuss it in this section. Or if the current president and CEO will continue in the current role, mention that as well. Senior management. Talk about your expectations about the current senior management team in terms of roles and compensation. And with respect to compensation, you don't have to spell out specifics, but rather just have a general statement on comp. Senior management equity. If you're going to make equity co-investment available to the senior management team, discuss it here. Incentive stock for senior management. If you intend to incentivize senior management with equity, briefly describe what that plan would look like. In other words, will it consist of options? How many options and over what, how many years? Will it consist of restricted stock, and what the vesting period will look like? Capital. Discuss how you'll be financing your acquisition. So here, depending on the seller's advisor, more or less detail will be required. Sometimes a very general statement will suffice, and in other times a real breakdown of the capital structure will be required. In other words, how much equity, how much debt, how much subordinated debt, and then who is, sometimes they'll even want to know, where the capital is coming from. Closing balance sheet. Set forth your expectations of what working capital should be at closing, prefaced with a comment that it's based on historical performance and current trends. You also want to carve out accrued tax on taxable income. This should be the responsibility of the seller. GAAP. This is an important one. Make clear that the financials, the closing balance sheet, and any related supplemental information is presented and interpreted in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. If you're going to have any non-compete agreements, you'll want to put them in this section here under non-compete agreements. Reps and warranties. There's a usual and customary basket for reps and warranties, and that includes collectability of accounts receivable, usability of inventory, that the PP&E is in sound and working condition and that it is free and clear of any liens and encumbrances, that there's an assignability of material agreements, no environmental liabilities, and that there's no material adverse change or MAC in the business or prospects of the business. So that's the end of part one. Look for part two on the letter of intent blueprint. And if you just want to get down to the business of writing your LOI, you will find our LOI templates just what you're looking for. Easy to use, in familiar Word format, and they won't bust your bank. Go to www.ppm-templates.com. This is Nick Chevick. Thanks for watching.